The floor is ours. So together with Rafał, we are very happy to host at your homes, I guess, mostly today. I'm Krzysztof Pimpicki. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Positive Productivity, expertise partner of ABSL. And our special guest today is Rafał Kozłowski. Rafał.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rafał Kozłowski. I'm CFO of Asseco Poland group and running, financial department, shared service for our Polish subsidiaries. Hello again.
Thank you very much for this introduction and for being with us and sharing the experience. We are a part of ABSL community, and in fact, today's webinar is the next event in our project of service operations management during and post-COVID-19 era. So the whole idea is to promote discussion on the solutions and best practices on how to address new challenges which we are facing today. So Positive Productivity's expertise is in the field of business services, management, process improvement, standardization, and automation. We support clients in business services that are aware of the fact that any optimization requires good process measurement and engagement of the employees. Yes, the measurement and engagement is the key to success. So this is why in the last 7 years, we have developed and tested the tool that nowadays turns out to be the solution that is solving many challenges of the remote work. So today we'll share with you the solution and very recent experience in the pilot team in Asseco. So I hope that this study, this case study, will inspire you and instill an interesting discussion at the final part of the meeting. If it comes to agenda of the whole webinar, we'll try to answer the 3 very important questions on why, how, and what. What were the results of the session? Do you see the slide with agenda? Because I just want to make sure that everything is okay, because I also observe another monitor. Okay, so then we'll also share with you, or Rafa will share with you results, and there will be also a space to give you an inspiration on how you can take advantage of a kind of similar opportunity of testing the solution at your own organization if you got interested by this webinar. And finally, we have the question and answer session. So the first question, the most important, as we know from the recent ABSL or 2 years ago ABSL conferences, is start with why. So why now? The Chinese proverb says, when the winds of change blow, some people build shelters and the others build windmills. So probably, I guess, many of you are in the others group. And where are you, Rafał? Why have you decided to introduce such a change in this time?
Okay, thank you for the invitation once again. So today, indeed, I would like to share with you some experiences that we have together with Positive Productivity. It's a very interesting moment. The COVID-19 happened when everybody was engaged in daily operations. We are, in most cases, very busy, which was the case with Asseco and my team as well. Just to give you the example, it was normal time. We ran, during this period, 27 projects at once. Of course, there are a lot of, daily operations to be, taken. So it was really busy time. And finally, this COVID happened, and it caused additional additional work. So we had to think how to start, delivering the normal services to our customers, our clients. Just being very frank and open, we were not prepared fully for that kind of situation. Actually, most of the people were, basing on some regular computers, not laptops even, etc. So it caused, additional challenges. But, on the other hand, among these 27 projects, we have some projects that are really focused on implementing the culture of continuous improvements. And we are fighting about that, years already. And I didn't want to stop, all these actions that we have. So I thought that maybe it's even a very good opportunity because of the circumstances and the environment, the whole situation, to speed up, and to do something that was important for us, but there was no, good time for this. So as is said in this saying, maybe, these difficult times, it's a great opportunity to make some experiment, to change something which will be to be used in the future. So this is how we started. So I just took, 4 people, one leader. I like her. This is her. She always, takes the biggest challenges, but she does it with a big smile. So I knew that if I have to do something during such difficult times, it has to be her. So this is how we started. But let's be back a little bit. So Krzysztof, if you could, switch the slide, please.
Okay, so thank you for sharing this situation. We also, maybe some part of you might have taken part in the survey or in the previous webinar on the discussion of the survey results, but here we just want to detail results which show the answer of the heads of the centers, what kind of new problems or challenges related to managing the service operations are soon or will be your top priority. And in fact, we can see a list of 10 different challenges. We are going to cover 8 of them during the today's presentation. However, the focus probably will be on keeping team spirit and morale in the long term, and also sustaining high level of quality and timeliness in a more dynamic and more difficult to manage environment. So, Rafał, how do you perceive the challenges of managing people in remote operations?
So actually, this is a really turning point, and it was one of the important motivation for myself, really to go forward with the idea, because we were suffering, and our suffering is described on this slide on the left-hand side in red. So you can see that always there is a kind of a challenge with visibility of the work that should be performed. But during the COVID times, it was even more difficult. People were not sitting together, they were not talking each other, so there is a challenge with communication. Second point, a lot of things that happened suddenly because of the entire situation. So this kind of a firefighting mode that we started. Always we had some issues with planning and prioritizing, the work to be performed because of the, number of systems that should be run. The information comes from different, areas, etc. So, but additionally, the moment that people had to go, from the offices, from the place that they set together within teams, they started to work even more alone. So, so really, it is challenging. So I would say that the whole situation just underlined some issues that were with us already, but they were even much more, in light that we have to do something about that. Yes. So on the right-hand side, we are presenting, the status of each of them, where we would like to be. So I'm not going to read all of this, but you can read this very quickly. But the idea was how to approach this, and this is the idea to get something, to organize ourselves, maybe to use some IT solution, just to make sure that we have the full visualization about what is happening in our teams, and some tool helping people to distribute the work appropriately, and to make it in kind of automatic mode. But once again, so Krzysztof, if we could go further, please. Okay, so, but where we started with. So I would say that probably it's very typical, not for us. It's the situation that most of you can, confirm that it's really typical. So as I said, I mentioned about that. We used to work on, many systems. So some of the systems are the source of our data. Some of them, give us some reports. In another systems, we have to enter data. So many of them, yes. So this is one of the issues, and this is it has to be addressed. This is obvious for all the shared services. So there is a high volume of tasks. Nobody is waiting for us when we will be prepared to do it. We have to do it immediately. Yes, we have different kind of tasks. The places that the tasks are coming from are also different. In our case, we are talking about 12 clients, different SLA for each of them. We are talking about different schedules, monthly, quarterly, annually. There are a lot of, disruptive situations like incoming calls, ad hoc tasks, some illness. There are many projects, meetings, but I am not going, to increase even the complexity of the situation. It is complex, but I am not complaining because this is our normal job, and daily operations. But still, I would like to make a, order in this, yes, to increase the management, to make our lives better. So what we need. So we decided, to focus on three things that are described on the right-hand side top. So first of all, I wanted to make sure that we will keep all the time tracking information. We used some system for this, but the word total is very important. Yes, so we need the full information about the time spent on task, not just 2 hours out of 8 hours to be counted. The second very important thing to be done is this task distribution and management. So especially during this time and the change of the mode of work into the remote one, it is extremely important, just to make sure that each of our people have the same, let's say, amount of work to be done. So this distribution is a key word, but I would say that this is not only for remote work. We were suffering because of this even during normal times. And the last but not least, so one place to visualize all work-related data. So you remember I mentioned about the number of systems. So I have some information. In different systems, we have some reports, but there are too many of them, too many places. So it was one of the issues that I wanted to cover by the new solution, let's call like this. But I wanted to make sure that this system exists. I didn't want to engage in something that I have to build, from the scratch or improve. Second, we wanted to have, the system that is flexible enough to cover some adjustments to our needs in future. Of course, it's kind of a contrary to the first point, but it has to be balanced. Yes, so one thing is some product that is standardized, and the second to leave us some flexibility. And the third one, but again, it's very important, and I believe that it plays a huge role in the whole story, is to have a system which is not perceived by people as a spying tool, but the tool that brings value, that can be really support for decisions to be taken. So this is the situation that describes the moment that we just took a decision.
Thank you very much on sharing on your why. And now we can turn into how, and I will try to describe what is the solution about, so that it will be, I hope, inspiring you and explaining. So the whole idea is that we put or we identify tasks which can be put into the pipe, and these tasks on the left hand side, they will be on the to-do list tasks, and this list is prioritized according to the expected completion date of any task. And on the other hand, we have employees with the skills to perform the certain tasks. And they just press one button, their desktops, which is give me new task. And when they press the button, they get a certain task from the queue, which is the most urgent one, because it's down the pipe and is suitable to their skills. Then they do the task, and when they finish, they can either go for a break or do some other activities which are not on the pipe, like reporting or like meetings or whatever, or take another task. Okay, so what is important is that this is done in a very dynamic mode. So whatever changes are needed, the manager can all the time observe the pipe, and whatever change is needed to implement this. And also, what can you see maybe here, but what is very practical experience is that people have balanced work. So everybody is busy in a way, because the system distributes it in a very balanced way. So this is very important. Also, the whole time measurement is behind. So the system collects all the data for further analysis, which we'll share with you in a moment. So what kind of tasks can be put into the pipe? These are mainly volume-based tasks, which can be imported from transactional systems like invoices, for example, in that case. They can be also recurring tasks and tasks from emails, for example. All this type of tasks are very easy to be implemented into the pipe integrated with the tool we have. And how does it work? This is the screen from Asseco, from the actual implementation. So so it's in Polish, but the person who is can see the main screen, and the main button is give me a new task. Okay, and then when this task when this button is pressed, I can see some voices, disturbance. Anyway, I continue. When this button is pressed, then a particular task appears with, as you see, with the number, and this number is then tracked in RAP system. And when the person has finished doing the task, then he or she chooses one of the endings which are in the blue to confirm what kind of tasks were finished. Or if they have to suspend, they also take the reason of the process problem of the suspension. Okay, so this is just the example, and it was built in the way the team wanted it to be built. So it can be complicated for you, but those people wanted it to be done in that very particular way. So that's one thing, is the whole pipe and the taking the task from the pipe. The other point, which is very important, is that what is important is to provide a fast and quite simple transfer of team leaders' knowledge of employees' skills and preferences to be reflected into the system. So we take it from the head of the team leader and put it into the system. And what is also important, we can match the preferences. So, for example, if one particular employee likes or prefers to do first this type of activities, or has strong preference, then it's his or hers first preference. So in that way, the system while giving the tasks, try to prioritize and balance the need of the clients, which are around the SLAs, and the preferences and skill set of employees. So, but this is for the pipe task, but there always are tasks which are not feasible or which we don't want to be in the pipe. For example, administration tasks, project learning, meetings, and others. And in that case, we have very simple way of reporting time allocated to these tasks by just pressing the green button, and then a person can assign the time to the meeting or the project, for example. So in this way, we have total time tracking embedded into the system. In a very simple way, we can collect all the data in the details which are needed for the team leader, and for the team to manage the work what they have. Okay, now I hope that you have the clear understanding of what stands behind of how the solution works, roughly about, and what can we see. The title of this webinar is Full Visualization and Confidence in Remote Work. So now we get into this. So what we can have is two types of reports. The ones which I will concentrate on today is daily 5 key reports which provide all essential information for the team leaders, but also there's a quite bigger set of 100 ready-to-use and proven analysis sheets supporting the efficiency KPIs, waste elimination, process improvement, standardization, and automation. But I'm not going to touch into this at the moment because we are focusing on daily online management. So the first question the manager can ask, and also the team, how much task do we have in our pipe currently at a certain moment? And these are the particular data from the team from Asseco from yesterday. So so you can see that there's 89 not started tasks, but still some tasks which are not started. 11 out of them are already delayed, so it says they should be taken. And also there's a kind of distribution of tasks, delayed tasks and the current tasks, which can be with the volume and with the expected time to complete these tasks. For example, the new ones are for 19 minutes to be completed. And also what we can see, what is the current situation, and what is very important, how many tasks were suspended today, for example. The suspended issue is quite important because due to many reasons, sometimes tasks are suspended. So if, for example, and also this delayed tasks usually are from the suspension list. So that's why usually the managers in our clients' organizations, they want to have a more thorough view on suspended task, and in that way they can dig down deeper to see the split of suspensions by time period in days or by employees. Of course, the names are hidden at the moment, or by the reasons of suspensions, and also check all the detailed information immediately if they want, of course. The third view is the view of the past. So, for example, the last day. So, how many tasks were finished within SLA, and how many tasks were delayed yesterday. And then there's also KPI, which shows if we have a problem with meeting our target. We can also, the team can see the percentage of KPI of timeliness in the previous days, the whole month, or also the amount of work which was done on time and delayed. So you can see it's very clear view for the team. In that case, almost all the delayed work comes from the suspensions, which I mentioned. Okay, the final, quite often used approach is about the planning, or the sheet to plan the work. So, for example, let's imagine that we have 6 employees at that team currently, and at that day, at least, yes, yesterday, and at that certain moment, the estimated time needed to finish all not started tasks was 19 hours. But if the manager wants to know the answer for the question, when will my people probably finish the work and they will be ready to take on, for example, some project work or some other tasks which I have for them, which are more development related, for example, then he or she can see that the estimated time is before 3, they should finish the work. But let's imagine also that a colleague asks for help because there's a peak in another team and 3 persons are needed to support another team operations from the given team. Then a manager can just put a number 3 here, and then the system will calculate that then if I let 3 employees to go to another team, delegate them, then I have a problem that we have over hours with the people, probably with the current 3 people, or we get out of the target with the completion date. So what is very important is that the manager can very easily check and understand when the work will be done, or what will happen if the resources are changing. Okay, so for example, with 4 people, we can easily accommodate to the deadlines and have no overtime in the team, which means that I can delegate to employees for another team. So this is a very short, very easy and fast way for the manager to check how is the situation, does the situation look like. Okay, and the final report is the reliable picture of what has happened during the last day, for example. So what kind of top time-consuming tasks were done in the last day? What was the volume proceeded with different tasks? And these are not only pipe, but also the button measured tasks. And also the manager can see the manager can see how many people were working in that day, and also if we had over hours. By the way, often this view is used during, and these views are used during the daily meeting, which are run every day with the team. And also there are some additional data on reporting quality and so on. So I'm not going to focus on this. And probably, as you also can see, is that if a manager would like to see the picture of one particular employee, it's just the selection of the name of the employee, and then the manager can see the picture of where the time went, yes, and how much time was spent on which kind of activities. Okay, so that was a kind of glimpse of what the manager can see. And Rafał, I would like to ask you to share the results. How do you perceive them? What have you heard from your team?
Sure. So before I will, go with quotes, just one information or explanation. So all the reports looks like pretty complex, a lot of numbers. It seems like we changed our organization into, kind of a automated factory, but this is not true. There are people there, how to say, ordinary behaviors. But we wanted to make sure that we can collect the information about what was done, how quickly it was done, etc. And again, it's not about just pushing people to do it quicker, but to make it wiser. So from my perspective, what was also important, and I underline this to positive productivity. I don't care if you have 100 or 200 reports. Nobody is going to read it, yes? Believe me. Let's choose 5, 6. Let's focus on them. Let's make really important information on this report, allowing people to base on this. So in a minute, I will tell you what was the reaction of managers for these reports and the entire implementation. But here we have the quotes of things or the statements that we get from our employees. So you can see, I can focus. I do not have to think about what to do now, what to do next, because this is automatically done. I hate planning. Now no plan is needed. More of my work time has freed up. Now the task allocation is fair. Now the task allocation is fair, which was also very important part from the employee's perspective. There was plenty of discussions about that. I understand the impact of my work on KPIs. When I come back from days off, I have no backlog waiting for me. This is connected with this distribution, that certain tasks are not only meant to be done by, special, individual, but it can be really distributed to others. If somebody is not, taking this job now, it is distributed to somebody else, and again, it's done automatically. Less stress. I have satisfaction each time I finish a task, because this is nice, you are pressing the button, yes, I did it, like, in chess, yes, I finished my turn. I like to work that way. So this is what we heard from employees. Now, managers. Maybe I am not going to read again all the quotes, but I just mark 3 of them, which I believe are really, underlining what was important from the leader's perspective. Yes. So I am not longer blamed for unfair task allocation. There are no more conflicts related to the issue. And this is very obvious because there is no, let me describe the situation on our side. So before, the jobs or tasks were allocated, every morning. But in some extent, it was possible that if somebody, came earlier, could, reserve the easier tasks. you know, and it was really unfair. Yes. So now this is not, possible. So it's really started to work, and really the leaders are more focusing on, making this prioritizing procedure, in a better way. So making sure that, the right people will get the right kind of task, what is important, what is less important, etc. But everything else is done automatically. Yes. Now, the another one that is bold, far less stress. I am sure that priorities will always be done. So again, we have to do it in ahead. So we know all the schedules. We have kind of information which tasks are more important today, maybe they are less important tomorrow, etc. But you can program this, so we did it, and thanks to this, team leader is more concentrating on, checking the people, organizing some stuff, etc. But here, this one is, let's say, in 90% really done automatically. And again, last but not least, it's a lot easier from many reports and many sources. I have all the data in just one place. So this is also very important from my perspective. Yes, just to focus the leader, to keep him in one system and following what is happening. And this one is extremely important during this situation. So my perspective, in most, still this is very young situation. We started to use this tool, but it's I am looking, ahead with optimism. Yes, so in my opinion, our clients will be satisfied because of the timeliness potential, etc. The people seems that they really let's say they are pleased by the system. The team leaders, now it's, I am talking about one team leader so far, yes, but it will be distributed, and the system will be implemented in other teams. But this current leader, he's really pleased by the system. And I hope that, all the information that we will get will be the base for the further productivity growth. So I am optimist. I am very excited, but we will see. There are some details that should be covered. There are some modifications that we are talking about, but yeah, we are experimenting, and we are satisfied so far.
Thank you very much for sharing. And maybe those of you who are with us are thinking that it might be an interesting point to consider also, because you might have similar challenges. So now I would like to very shortly describe on how you can take advantage of this, of the opportunity of testing such a solution. So the first understanding is that it's quite fast, and it's step-by-step implementation in the way Sync is believing. So what is important is that we have 2 working days for introduction training for team leaders, so that they understand the whole story, and also to map the process and the tasks, and then prepare the system for you. Usually we start with the tasks that have SLAs and can be shared quite easily by the employees and distributed among them. So then we just need 1 day for setting up the solution. And in just 5 working days, you can use the solution for daily management. So the idea is to provide it in a very fast mode. And when people are using it, they get a little bit used to this, and they are ready to go further, to take next steps, for example, including next processes or clients. With Asseco, we started with just 4 clients and I think 4 systems with the data in the pipe. And then gradually now the team wants to have everything in the system. So the idea is to do it step by step. And the final step is training for the system administrative tasks to give the autonomy for the organization to continue. And before we get to the questions and answer, I would like also to ask you for the feedback, and Alexandra will send you a link in a moment, also in the chat. So now you see the whole movement is to the chat right now, because we promised to have 10 minutes for questions and answers, and we are exactly at that moment. So please share with us your comments, your questions, anything you would like to share with us. So we are waiting for this, and we'll be happy to answer the questions you have. So please write them on the chat. By the way, the feedback can be done anytime, but we'll be happy to hear from you, the feedback also, because we did some work on this and it will be great to have some feedback from you. Okay, so please share with us. What are your questions? What are your observations? What are your comments? I'm observing chat. I don't see any questions. So okay, we're still waiting. Maybe we have no questions because we have 3 different links to be done. So one is the action to just get appointment in the time which you select for yourself. The other one is to take part in the second webinar, and the third one is the feedback. So maybe we wait for a short moment, because maybe you need some time for this. Okay. Ola, you have the approach. You can see the form probably, so maybe you can also share if we have some feedback from the participants.
Yes. 1 second, I will check if there's something.
Thank you. Okay. So Rafał, maybe before we get to the questions, maybe one more inspiration which we could share having this time. Because I remember our discussion, and you said, oh, that might be, you have a very nice metaphor for the whole system. So maybe we can you can share with us this on GPS.
Rafał, you should unmute your mic, because we can hear you.
Sure. So I wanted you to read out of my mouth. Okay, sure. So I am thinking by pictures, by let's say I have to visualize myself, everything that I do. So this system, why I was, certain that it's a good idea to go with, because I compare this with the GPS, the normal GPS, Google, for example, that you have in your mobile when you're driving. It's extremely helpful when you can know exactly what time you will arrive on the place that you are planning to go. And this GPS is also informing you about during the whole trip. how fast you're, going, exactly it's updated information when you will be there, etc. So for me, it was important to build a system, to organize ourselves in that way, yes, just to make sure that most or all my leaders, they know exactly where are they, when they will finish with their people, etc. So it was one of the motivation for myself. So I think that this kind of system is a really similar tool to this GPS. So this is something that we wanted also to share with you, with Krzysztof, about this system.
Okay. Thank you, Rafał. Martyna has one question. It's about if the tasks allocated are the same in terms of complexity and time of completion. Okay, so the tasks which we have in the system can be very, very varied. So can be one-off task or very typical task, like for example, posting an invoice. So it depends on what you need. But what is important is that the certain schemes of tasks which are repeatable, they have usually a set time of completion. So for example, if we have invoice to be posted from one client, then this client have 24 hours SLA, we can have the 24 hours. And the other client for the same kind of type of task can have 48 hours SLA. So then the time of the completion will differ. So what is important is that the system enables to accommodate to any type of tasks you can have in the system, any type of tasks and any complexity of tasks. Sometimes also to the task which you don't know, because many clients, they use it also to verify, okay, we get the task like the case and what is inside. And the first step is to verify what is inside, what should we do with this? And that's the first step in the scheme. And then the second one is if we have competences, skills to proceed further, we go further, or we put it into the pipe and the other person who has competences can do it. Okay, another question. How is the solution different from Sirocco Scout automated tool? Sirocco Scout. I don't know this tool, so I cannot answer this question. But thanks for inspiration. I will have a look on this, yeah? Okay, any other questions? Rafał, maybe you know the Scout automated tool.
I don't know. First time I heard here.
Okay, okay. Okay, please share with us any other questions you have. Okay, maybe I will answer one question which was not asked, but usually our clients ask this quite fast, is how to add new tasks.
There is one question. And
yes, we have another question from Martina.
The priorities are programmed in advance or can be done on daily or weekly basis. The priorities are not programmed. What is programmed is, or can be put into this task are the estimated completion date, which we expected, also the priority, but the final prioritization of the task is done by the system based on a very dynamic situation. So it can change throughout the day.
No, but Krzysztof, the question is slightly different. I think that I understand. Yes. So as a rule, we can put some limitation or constraints to this algorithm, and from this perspective, is programmed in advance. but it can be, adjusted during the day, definitely, because it was also our need. Because sometimes something is changing quickly, and we can adjust the situation. So definitely, the team leaders, they have the influence, they have the potential to make it more. How to say, ręcznie in Polish. I don't know the
Manual, yeah, to make
manual, yes.
Yes, definitely. What I would also add to is that whenever any task is already on the, for example, suspension list or on the private pipe, because there is also a private pipe list, then and an employee gets ill, for example, the manager can reallocate and very easily can see everything and can reallocate the particular task to the other persons. So this provides a very big flexibility for the manager to do whatever is needed. However, the manager sets the automated rules. So the idea is to try to play the tool in the way that they don't have to, work too much around this on the daily basis. But of course, the first days and first weeks they play a lot, yeah. But then it's not really needed unless there are some certain cases like sudden priority change or illness or whatever happens. Okay, any other questions? Because I think we have answered all the questions. I just mentioned what we have in the on the slide is how to add new tasks to the queue. There are 5 ways. The most and the used one in Asseco right now is data imported to the system, but we also have repeating task or recurring task or automatic email creator. So also integration is possible because the solution is based on the Salesforce platform, so it has perfect integration possibilities. But first, we want to do it very fast and efficient move. So no integration is needed, but can be done in the future. Okay, I don't see any questions. We are exactly 1 hour at 4. So thank you very much, Rafał, for sharing, for spending time with us. Please give us the feedback. Please apply to take part in the 2 proposed next steps if you got interested. And we hope that you have a very interesting presentation or interesting time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Bye.